Hello everybody, I'm Cliff Witherspoon. This is episode 2 of the Savannah River Fisherman Video Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get right to it, there's something I want to talk about for just a second. Somebody pointed out to me this week that Lake Kiowee is not actually part of the Savannah River, but we have it on the website. And we actually knew that going in. There's an overview of what we're about on the home page of the website, and we talk about that in the overview. But basically, the Savannah River is formed from the convergence of the Tougaloo and Seneca rivers, which happens right on the south end of Andersonville Island in Lake Hartwell. So technically, Lake Kiowee obviously is not on the Savannah River, but we knew that going in. We gave it some thought. Lake Kiowee is the primary feeder for the Seneca River, so it's a big part of what forms the Savannah River. And there are a lot of us that fish Lake Hartwell that also fish Lake Kiowee, and actually we're doing this to keep fishermen informed, so it just kind of made sense to include Lake Kiowee, so we did. And then the other thing is, I've had a couple people ask over the last couple of weeks if we would add a Lake Jocassee page, because there's a significant number of tournaments that happen on Lake Jocassee, and most of the people that are fishing those are people that also fish Kiowee and Hartwell. So it's kind of hard to say no to that. It made sense. So if you go there now, there's actually pages for Lake Jocassee, Kiowee, Hartwell, Russell, Clarks Hill, and then the river itself. So any tournaments you know about on any of those that aren't on the website, please let me know. And I'd love for you to get in the habit of kind of tagging me whenever you put anything out about tournaments. It'd be greatly appreciated. So to the show. One of my most favorite ways of catching fish is using soft plastic swim baits. I use the Kitech a lot. That's kind of like my primary swim bait is one of the Kitechs. And as you know, there's a range of sizes, and so the jig head that I use kind of varies depending on what size I'm using and how deep I want it to run in the water, that sort of stuff. One of the issues that I have fishing is I lose a lot of fish when I'm fishing on swim bait. I'll hook it, I'll set the hook, I'm on the way back to the boat and it just comes off. And I don't know that there's anything I could have done different than what I have done. And it's very frustrating, especially in a tournament when that happens. And I've had it happen, on back to back to back to back to back fish. So it's a frustrating thing for me. Well, what this man that's coming up next is going to talk about is something that I hope is going to help me fix that problem. And so if you're having anything similar, hopefully this will help you as well. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him since the late 70s. He's actually the man that took me bass fishing for the first time in my life. He is a really, really good bass fisherman. He's been doing it a long time. He knows what he's doing. He's taught me a lot over the years, and I hope he'll continue to teach me as years go on. So he's going to talk to us. This is Bobby Ayers.
Hello guys, girls. As Cliff stated, I love bass fishing. I've been fishing in this area since I was probably 7 years old, maybe 6. I fished Kiowee before it was backed up into a reservoir. I fished Jocassee before it was a reservoir and as it was filling. I can remember Hartwell when there was standing timber in the lake that had not failed. Fishing for crappie and bass as a kid. I was lucky enough to have some really good mentors early in my fishing career. My dad was not an outdoorsman and worked the second shift, so a lot of afternoons was not free for him. But I had a great opportunity with some game wardens that he had linked up with and a magistrate that worked out of Westminster, South Carolina, Judge Ed Cobb. And they are the ones that hooked me on outdoors, hunting and fishing. And it's a love of mine to this day. It's a passion. I really enjoy bass fishing. I love Jocassee, Kiowee. Russell is my favorite. I love Hartwell and down on Clarks Hill. As Cliff stated in the intro, fishing a swim bait, a Kitech, or any other swim bait, they're notorious for not getting a good hookup. A lot of times the bite is subtle on a swim bait, and a lot of times you just feel a little bit of resistance. There's a lot of things that go into not getting a good hookup with a fish, and nothing else can frustrate you like feeling the bite, setting the hook, making a few cranks, and then the line goes limp. All of a sudden, nothing, just limp. The fish just comes off. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes a fish jumps and throws the lure with leverage. Sometimes you don't have the proper angle for the hook set. Various things. But there's one thing that I hope that I can talk about today that will improve the hookup ratio. Cliff was telling me just a few weeks ago he went out and had lost 5 consecutive fish on a swim bait and did not get any one of those 5 into the boat. And I told him right then, I said, Cliff, did you check your hook? And he went, check my hook. I said, yeah, you got a dull hook. He went, a dull hook? I said, yeah, you got a dull hook. So I am very particular about the condition of my hooks. I sharpen them regularly. You have to think about how we bass fish. What are you throwing at? You're throwing wood, rock. Just the bottom itself is abrasive toward the hook itself. It doesn't take long. After 4 or 5 hookups with a fish that you penetrate bone and the meaty flesh of the fish's mouth, you're going to dull the hook. It's just like a knife. If you use it, it's going to dull. So therefore it needs to be sharpened. On the order, I will sharpen my hook depending on the day. On a jig, when I'm fishing rock, which I love to fish a jig, I love to fish rock, I might touch up my hook 2 or 3 times during the day because the rock will dull it quickly. So I want to talk about just a proper technique of honing the hook and the dynamics of this hook. I know you may be sitting out there, well, I sharpen my hook. I got a needle point. Well, the point has to be needle sharp. But the point does not do the main part of the work. It's the knife edges on the side of the hook, here and here, that actually does the work. All hooks have a knife edge on either side. And while the point can get dull, these cutting edges also will get dull. So I use an array. These are my 4 main type of hook sharpeners. I usually keep this is just a stone. I usually keep one in the box right beside me on the boat, or I keep it in my pocket. I keep one of these in the boat. And then also a quick sharp is this diamond hone. It also has the groove in it that works super well on the point. But again, not only the point, you also have to sharpen the sides for the cutting edge. If you take the hook and you just look at it and say, what's the easiest way to do this? You're going to end up sharpening the hook in the wrong direction. What's happening when I run this hone in this direction from the back of the hook to the tip of the hook? I'm taking all of the metal debris and putting it on the tip. And that tip will get contaminated with spurs, and you will not get a sharp penetrating tip. So the proper angle is in reverse to what you might think, from the point to the back. And you notice I'm sharpening the side, the knife blade. I always sharpen the knife blade first, and generally it takes 5 to 7 strokes to tune it in. 5 to 7 strokes on each side. And then I will work right on the tip. This will clean the tip from any debris that you've left off cleaning on the sides, and it will make the tip sharp. And here again, I've got a groove in this diamond hone, and I'm just going to take it and slide it in the groove. Do the same thing, work away from the tip point. Not toward the tip, but away from the tip point. And that right there, if you throw that swim bait out there, or the jig, swing and a miss, swing, I got him, reel 3 times and he's off, I guarantee you I'm looking in my pocket for my home, and I'm going to shape up the tip. So I think if you will keep your hooks in a sharp condition, you're going to have, well, I know you're going to have more hookup. The hookup ratio and the hookup ratio to the boat and in the net is going to be a lot better. I'm looking forward to Cliff giving me feedback after I've taught him now how to properly sharpen a hook on that swim bait that he missed 5 in a row. He's going to boat all 5 next time.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. I cannot wait to take that out to the lake. I got me a tool, got some hooks sharpened, and I can't wait to get out on the water and just see what a difference it makes. I appreciate it very much. That comes close to the end of episode 2. A couple of things before we get out of here that you can do to help us out. SavannahRiverFisherman.com. Traffic through the website is very helpful. So check it out. Like I said, there's there's 6 different pages for 6 different bodies of water now. So regardless of where you are along the Savannah River Basin, you can find some information that's helpful about up and coming tournaments. Please keep me posted of any that you know of that you go to the website and they're not there. I'll make sure that I get them added as I update it each week. A couple other things you can do to help. One of them is get yourself one of these nifty hats. You can do that on the website. We've actually got a couple of different designs, a couple of different colors, and it's really the only way that we have to offset the cost of this that we're doing for Savannah River Fishermen, so it would be appreciated. If you haven't followed or liked our Facebook page, there's a Savannah River Fishermen Facebook page, so we'd appreciate very much you doing that. And lastly, now there's a Savannah River Fishermen YouTube channel where all these videos are going to live. If you would, when you get done watching this, subscribe to the channel. That'll help us out as well. So, I hope to see you on the water soon. Until next time, see you.